"Turn that off or change the channel," I said to my sister Mel. She was glued to the TV watching our dad launch his campaign to be re-elected as a United States Senator.
Jeez, I know you hate Dad, but this is a big day for him.
When I didn't respond, she kept staring at me. Well, what?
This is the part where you say, "I don't hate Dad, Mel."
I still said nothing.
Come on, Caleb. I know you and Dad don't get along well, but you don't actually hate him, do you? You know he took it badly after Mom passed away.
I'm sorry, okay? Today was a bad day. I'll just be in my room. I picked up my backpack and left. When I entered my bedroom, I fell backwards on my bed. I opened my backpack and took out the math test Mrs. Owen returned that morning. A giant red F on the front page of the test summed up my life in high school. I was an average student at best, much to my dad's displeasure. He always said that I wasn't applying myself enough, whatever that meant.
Dad's going to be so angry,
Mel said as she grabbed the paper from my bed. I sat up immediately, annoyed at her intrusion. Ever heard of knocking? Give that back.
You know he already told reporters that you'll be joining HSU, right?
HSU is one of the most prestigious colleges in the country. It was also where Dad got his political science degree. My dad always set high standards for us, especially me. He had a position waiting for me in his office once I graduated college. And here I was about to tell him that not only was I not going to HSU, I wasn't sure I'd get into any college at all.
You could always run away and join a circus.
Mel joked and I threw a pillow at her. Before I tell you if I joined the circus or not, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, hit that notification bell so that you'll be alerted when more stories like mine get added here.
Caleb Archibald III, get out here now!
Dad sounded furious. Also, he'd called me by my full name. I'm sure most of you know what that meant. I was in trouble.
You want to tell me what I'm looking at?
He asked as I walked into his office on the second floor of our house. He was staring at my math test. I know you're wondering how he got it. Well, I might have left it on his desk the previous night before I went to bed. I'm sorry, Dad. Looks like I'll not be joining HSU. Dad recoiled, like I'd slapped him in the face.
Caleb, you have one job and one job only, and that is to get into HSU.
And if I don't?
Then you're no longer welcome to live here.
You're forgetting that it's election season. How will it look if you kick me out? The media will love that story.
Is that a threat?
No, just reminding you that you can't afford bad publicity, I said with a smile.
Get out of my office. You're not going to ruin this campaign for me.
Caleb 1, Dad 0. If only high school mathematics was that simple.
Good morning, class. I'm Mr. Salzman, your new maths teacher.
I looked up from my phone. What happened to Mrs. Owen? Mr. Saltzman smiled at me.
And you are?
Caleb.
Ah, Senator Archibald's son. You're failing this class, right?
A few of my classmates chuckled.
I'd like to discuss your grades after class.
I'm good, thanks. More chuckles.
Wasn't a request.
I hated Mr. Salty already, but went to see him anyway. If you're about to lecture me on how I'm going to miss college, please, save it.
What does your dad think of your grades?
He's thrilled. He can't wait to use my math test as a campaign poster.
Oh, so you think you're funny?
What do you want?
I asked to see you so I could offer you some private lessons.
No thanks. Mr. Saltzman smiled.
Come on, it'll get your dad off your back. Plus, who knows, you might make it into HSU after all.
How do you know about HSU? I looked at him suspiciously.
Your dad mentioned it on TV during an interview.
You seem to know a lot about my dad. Did he send you? Oh my God, did he get Mrs. Owen fired?
Calm down. He's a public figure and I happen to like politics.
I visibly cringed and he laughed.
So, what do you say?
Couldn't hurt to try. I'll talk to my dad about payment.
No need. You can pay me by passing your SAT.
Why are you being so nice to me? Mr. Saltzman looked sad for a second, then smiled.
Just correcting some mistakes I made in the past,
He said, then walked away before I could ask what he meant by that.
Who are you and what are you doing in my house?
Dad stood at the door to our study room, arms crossed.
I'm Mr. Salzman, Caleb's math teacher.
He extended his hand for Dad to shake, but Dad ignored it.
That doesn't explain what you're doing in my house.
Mr. Saltzman is tutoring me. You wanted me to apply myself, right? This is me applying myself. My dad looked surprised. I guess he never expected me to make any effort in my schoolwork.
All right then, carry on,
He said as he walked out.
I regret voting for him.
Mr. Saltzman said, and we both laughed. If I wasn't mistaken, Mr. Saltzman looked nervous. I thought it was because he just met my dad for the first time, but I was to find out later I was wrong. Mr. Saltzman was hiding a much bigger secret. I can't wait for you to find out what he was hiding. I bet you'll be just as shocked as I was. Look, I said as I ran into Mr. Saltzman's office. I just checked my SAT scores, and I'd done so much better than I'd hoped. I can't believe I did this well. Thank you so much for your help.
Congratulations! Have you told your dad yet?
Not yet. I'll tell him tonight. I have an idea. How about you come for dinner at my house tonight? I want you to be there when I tell him.
I don't know. Your dad didn't seem to like me very much.
Trust me, when he sees my SAT scores, he'll change his mind. Please, come. Fast forward a few hours later, we all sat for dinner. Everything was perfect, except for one thing. When I showed Dad my SAT scores, he was not impressed.
That's slightly above average. I knew hiring a tutor was a waste of money.
You're not even paying him, Dad.
He's tutoring you for free? No wonder he's bad at his job.
Caleb worked really hard, sir. The least you can do is be proud of him.
And who are you to lecture me on how to treat my own son? It's teachers like you that let kids go through school thinking an average grade is all I need to succeed in life.
Dad, I think that's enough.
Do not interrupt me when I'm talking. Your SAT score is nowhere near enough to get you into HSU.
What? But I checked their website. My score's above their minimum entrance score. My dad laughed.
You foolish boy. You think just because you sat and solved a few math and English problems, you're now qualified to join one of the best colleges in the country?
What are you saying? That they won't accept my application?
Oh, they will, but not because of your little SAT score. They'll accept you because a few months ago I promised to build them a new library. It'll be called the Baron Archibald Student Center.
I felt so stupid. I'd spent months studying so I could make my dad proud. You never believed I could pass the test. That's why you made the donation. To say I was frustrated was an understatement.
Look, son, you're not exactly the brightest kid in the class. What was I supposed to do?
You're unbelievable. You have no idea what a good son you have. Is this how you've been treating him all these years? I should never have left him with you.
Mr. Saltzman stood up and took off his glasses. The next thing he did left all of us in shock. He tugged at his hair and kept pulling until it came off. His hair was actually a wig, but that wasn't the crazy part. When he pulled off the wig, long blonde hair fell out. Mr. Saltzman was a woman.
No, it can't be. You? It's been you the whole time?
Dad's face went pale.
Yes, Baron, it's me. Is this how you treat our son?
Did she just say our son? Dad, who is this?
My name is Sarah. I'm your mother.
But, Dad, is this true? Dad sat with his face buried in his hands. I wanted so desperately for him to call her crazy and ask her to leave immediately. Instead, what he said turned my world upside down.
Yes, it's true. 16 years ago, Sarah and I had an affair and I got her pregnant. She left when you were just a few days old.
It's not that simple. I was just a young college intern with no means to raise a child. I thought Baron and his wife were your best chance to have a good life.
So why disguise yourself?
I just wanted to be close to you without revealing who I really am. You seemed happy, and I didn't want to upset you.
You failed, because right now, I'm very upset.
I'm so sorry. I'll leave now.
A few minutes later, she was gone. A few days after that awful dinner, Mr. Saltzman, now Sarah, sent me a text asking me to meet her, but I never responded. Dad and I barely said a word to each other after that night. The last time we spoke, he said that I'd be receiving an acceptance letter from HSU, and I better confirm my enrollment. When the letter finally came, I didn't even bother opening it. I don't see why I'm here. Mel and I stood in our living room waiting for Dad to give his final speech before Election Day. Reporters were camped on our front lawn, waiting for all of us to come out as a family.
Are you still mad?
What do you expect? They basically lied to me my whole life.
At some point, you have to talk to Dad. Look, here it comes now.
Caleb, I know things are a little rocky between us, but please don't embarrass us tonight. I need you to be on your best behavior.
That's all you have to say to me? We're not going to talk about Sarah?
I provided you with everything you needed. I'm not going to have you disrespect me by asking about that woman.
Guys, the reporters are ready for us.
Dad's speech was basically him praising himself for being a perfect dad, husband, and leader. When he was done talking, he allowed reporters to ask him a few questions.
My question is for Caleb. How does it feel to be joining HSU just like your dad?
Actually, I'll not be attending HSU. You see, the truth is, I told the reporters everything as Dad looked on in horror. I told them about Dad's bribe in the form of a new library at HSU. I also told them about Sarah. By the time I was done talking, Dad's political career was over. The room went wild with questions for my dad, and security had to escort him back inside. Hours later, he resigned from office and dropped his bid for re-election. The following morning, I woke up with a massive headache. Did last night really happen, or did I dream it all?
I want you out of my house. Today.
Dad didn't even bother knocking. I guess that was my answer. I knew there was no point trying to reason with him, so I started packing immediately. I idly scrolled through my phone as I sat in my car, wondering where to go next. I could sleep in my car for a couple of nights, but I knew Dad would have it taken away soon. My phone rang with an incoming call from Mel.
Caleb, I'm so sorry. I tried to talk to him, but he's so mad at you.
It's not your fault.
What will you do?
I have no idea. I have a little cash saved up, plus I could get a job.
Or you could reach out to Sarah. Look at the things she did just to be near you again. She cares about you, Caleb.
By the end of the call, Mel had convinced me to drive to the address Sarah sent me. An hour later, I was parked outside a beautiful white house with a picket fence and a flower garden.
Caleb, I'm glad you're here. Please, come in.
Sarah stood at the doorway smiling at me. I didn't move. He kicked me out.
I'm sorry to hear that, but after what you did, I'm not surprised.
So it's my fault? She laughed.
Of course not. What you did was very brave.
Look what my bravery got me. I'm homeless and have no college to attend.
How about you come in and we try and figure things out?
Okay, I guess. I had so many questions for her, but at the moment, I was grateful to have a place to sleep.
Caleb, get out here. Another letter just came for you.
Sarah was outside tending to her flower garden. I'd been living with her for 2 months, and even though we still had a lot to catch up on, things were going well. After I moved in with her, she helped me send applications to several colleges. She even helped me write my essay, which, as you'd guess, was mostly about my life with Dad and how Sarah came back to my life. Wow, this is my 4th acceptance letter. And look, it comes with a full scholarship, just like the others.
I am so proud of you. So, which one are you gonna pick?
I'm not sure yet, but how about we go visit each of them before I decide?
Wow, I love that.
Sarah looked so happy, and if I was being honest, so was I. As for Dad, I hadn't spoken to him since the day he kicked me out. Mel and I spoke regularly, and she even came to visit Sarah and I. That's the end of my story, but there are so many more on this channel, so happy watching.